remember when I was first shopping for my first weapon light, my eyes started to glaze over at all the terms and specs like lumens, candela, mounting options, and the pricing of it all. It was confusing, and I'm sure a lot of you have had a similar experience, so I wanted to help you guys out by giving you a list of the top 5 weapon lights rank ordered by brightness, value, indoor and outdoor, and even throw in a modular option. So choosing the right weapon light isn't all about brightness. It's about choosing the one that matches your mission best. So in this video, we'll introduce you to lights tailor-made for different scenarios, from defending your home to scouting out the great outdoors. Alright, so since we're talking about lights, I think it's worth it to talk about the brightest possible lights that we have in what I call the burn your eyebrows off category. But before we do, we need to talk about what we mean by brightness, because let me ask you, do you want the brightest possible light that covers the most amount of area? That would be the lumen rating of the light. Or do you want the furthest beam of light possible? That would be the candela rating of the light. If you don't know the difference between lumens and candela, that's okay. Lumens is the rating of the overall brightness of light, and candela is the focus or intensity of the beam of light. Think of candela as tightening the head of your backyard hose. The tighter it gets, the further the water goes, right? Think of the candela rating as the tightness of that hose head. The higher the candela rating, the further the light will go. Keep these terms in mind because we will be talking about them a lot throughout the rest of this video. So for the brightest light that we carry here at AT3 in lumens, I'm going to suggest the Rechargeable Streamlight 2.0. What's great about this 2000 lumen light is that, number one, it's the brightest that we carry, of course, and we'll talk about that later, but even better is that it's powered by Streamlight's rechargeable batteries. So instead of messing around and charging your battery separately, you can plug in a normal USB-C cable that you probably already have with your phone. While it's great that it's rechargeable, some people don't like this because they would rather have the redundancy of extra common batteries laying around in case something goes wrong out in the field. It's up to you, but Streamlight says that a rechargeable battery will give you about 2.5 hours of constant battery life, giving you a super bright 2000 lumens. And speaking of that 2000 lumens, if you've never seen what 2000 lumens looks like coming out of this light, I mean, man, it's bright. This light's so bright that I would even say it's like turning on a miniature sun at night, perfect for spotting movement in your backyard or field at night to spot any unwanted critters, varmints, or even people. This light has a relatively low candela rating at 17,700, which means you'll get a really nice spread of light to help illuminate a large outdoor space. If you want something a little tighter with a nice close beam, then you can get something like the Streamlight HLX. This light has a lot of similarities to the 2.0 with its design, but the biggest thing about the HLX is its candela rating. You'll see other lights on this list with 10,000 and 15,000 candela ratings, but this light is rated at 50,000 candela. Unlike the 2.0, the HLX trades some of that lumen power for a tighter beam, which is helpful for spotting targets at around 1,100 feet or so. While it's 1,000 lumens less powerful than the 2.0, it's great for seeing things at a distance if that's what you want your light to do. But for indoor use, these lights are usually way too bright and will probably blind you if you try to light them up indoors, so let's take a look at an option that is way better for indoor use. So for indoor lighting, most of the time, people are looking to put a light on a home defense gun, meaning they want it to be able to see what's going on in a dark and enclosed space. You also probably want to keep the home defense gun lightweight and maneuverable as possible to work in those tight environments in order to move around as fast as possible during an unpredictable situation. With that in mind, our top pick for the best close quarters illuminator is the Inforce WML, or weapon mounted light. So this is great for indoor use with a well-balanced 450 lumens and a 10,000 candela rating, making it plenty bright enough for indoor use and making the spill of the beam of light great for lighting up an entire dark room. What I really like about this light though is the polymer construction, keeping things nice and light on the gun. It also has an integrated slope pressure switch, which fits my thumb very nicely, and the whole thing flows very nicely onto the handguard, making it ideal for top mounting the light on the handguard. Now, I know some of you scoff at the fact that it's made from polymer, but let me say, even with its lightweight construction, it's still durable enough to stand up to some abuse that most people throw at it. And if you're worried about that, then Inforce gives you a limited lifetime warranty for a little extra peace of mind. The reviews that I've seen and the fanboys of Inforce that we've got around the office here say that they have put these things through their paces and they still hold up fine even after thousands of rounds downrange with them. If you're also worried about accidental discharge of your weapon light, the Inforce also has a lever that comes up to physically block the switch from turning on the light. The biggest thing about the whole setup is that there's no need for a pressure pad and wires to get in your way. Just throw it on your rail, hit the button, and you're clearing room super easy. So if you're looking for a simple, easy to set up indoor light at a competitive price, this one might be worth a look. Now, if price is your main concern and you want the best value option for your hard-earned cash, you can take a look at our best overall value pick up next. And really, there is no list of best value light options you can make without the Streamlight Protac Railmount. I'm talking about the 2L option here. The quick spec rundown of this light is that it has 650 lumens with a decent 22,000 candela, making it a versatile indoor and outdoor light. It runs off the same CR123 batteries as the Inforce, which are included, by the way, and those will get you about 1.5 hours of constant battery on. It even has a Picatinny and an M-LOK mount, so you can fit it to whatever setup that you already have, and it even comes with a pressure switch with either momentary on or constant on button right out of the box. Package all that up with the classic rugged build that can take years of abuse, and I have friends that can personally attest to that. And you've got a great all-around light at a really affordable price for most people. Now, I know some of you are gonna say that this is an older light and it's only 650 lumens, but it's one of the most popular lights on the market for a reason, because it's bright enough to handle a variety of indoor and outdoor situations depending on how far you want to see. It's also super easy to install with either a Picatinny rail or an M-LOK handguard, with the inclusion of accessories like mounts or even a pressure pad that the big brands like Surefire will make you pay extra for. And the fact that you get all of this for a little over $100 is just mind-blowing. At the same time, a lot of cheaper lights at this price point will only give you 1, maybe 2 years of warranty, whereas Streamlight will give you a lifetime warranty for the Protac, meaning Streamlight really stands behind the quality of this product. And if you keep an eye out on sites like ours, wink, we put these lights on sale all the time, so if you mix that in, there really isn't a better deal for a light out there that gives you this amount of performance and longevity for the price. Moving on to our top pick if you want a great outdoor light, and yes, it's a YouTube video about AR weapon lights, so we gotta talk about Surefire. You know it was coming, but Surefire is the gold standard for weapon-mounted lights, mostly for their durability, and more recently, they strike a great balance between high lumen output and candela rating, walking that line of giving you enough spill to light up that periphery of your vision and enough throw to see far downrange. This is what makes them a great outdoor option for us. So my top pick in the outdoor lighting category is the creatively named Surefire M64D Scout Pro. This light has a maximum lumen output of 1500, which is only about 500 less than the Streamlight 2.0, and the Surefire has a candela rating of 16,000 when using it with the recommended rechargeable batteries that should give you about 1.5 hours of constant on. While the candela and the lumens are higher in the Streamlight 2.0, the beams of light seem to be higher quality and a bit tighter to my eye, with the higher quality light still providing plenty of spill and giving more light to the periphery of my vision instead of a super focused beam of light. It also has a more rugged build with its Type 3 anodizing compared to the Streamlight's Type 2, which could be beneficial in an outdoor setting where things could be a little bit more unpredictable. So this is by far the best light, right? Well, as with everything, there are trade-offs. The first thing is that if you choose to go with a Surefire light, you are buying into an entire ecosystem that includes lights, mounts, pressure pads, different heads, and buttons. And there are tons of aftermarket parts that are Surefire compatible, and you can build out a system that works best for you and your gun. But the main problem with this is that it gets expensive. It's not uncommon to see a light like the M640 in the high to mid 300s. And if you want a pressure pad, how about another 130 bucks? If you're going whole hog into a Surefire system, be prepared to drop anywhere from $400 to $500 depending on what you want to set up. So why are these lights more expensive? Well, similar to something like a Geisley trigger, Surefire has developed a reputation since the early 1980s for being the most reliable and rugged lights out there that professional shooters trust with their lives. While it's true that they are the most rugged and premium light you can probably get, is it worth that extra cost to get that added benefit, or is getting something like a Streamlight getting you most of the way there? If you want to buy into the Surefire ecosystem, you're going to have to pay the big bucks, which might not be a problem for you if you want a high quality light that is used by door kickers around the world. But if you want to buy into an ecosystem, what if I told you that there's a system out there that will let you choose your light's body, head, button, and mount? Then you should look into Arisaka. This system gives you the most control over what you want your light to be, and it's compatible with the Surefire ecosystem. Arisaka made their name by making every conceivable mount you could think of, and now they have built out an entire line of products that you can use to build out the exact light that you want. For example, you could buy an Arisaka body with some Surefire batteries, a Malkoff head, and a Surefire push button, and you have a super unique light that is purpose-built for you and your needs as a shooter. Now, this can be a little complicated for some of you, and it could get a little pricey depending on the parts you pick out, but that's the cool thing, is that it comes down to you, what you want your light's performance to be, and how much you want to spend. Like I said though, these lights can be a little complicated, so if you want to deep dive into this lighting system, go ahead and leave a comment below, and we might just take a little deep dive into the options that Arisaka has. And with that, I hope I've given you something you can think about when picking out your own weapon light, and I hope I've made it a little bit simpler for you when you're shopping around. The thing about those Arisaka mounts is that they can make the way you grip your gun a lot easier, since that big weapon mounted light can sometimes get in your way. Something else that helps your grip is having a nice foregrip, and if you struggle with the wide array of options there too, I made sure to make a list to help you by going through over 70 different options and narrowing down the list for you guys. You can check out that list right here.